You know I'm right. Live episode 8. 8 is great right here on the You Know I'm Right podcast network. You Know I'm Right media, the You Know I'm Right podcast YouTube right here. So we're getting things started here right now. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calabrese. And Joe, no episode last week, but that was for good reason, right?
Congratulations. Officially became a father last Monday. So we're very, very happy about that. And you've been preoccupied for the week taking care of your newborn son. So that's okay. Happy to have you back.
Behind the scenes, we're still wheeling and dealing. A lot of things in the works. And Joe, we are partnering now, and we are powered by StreamYard, of course, but we're partnering with Millions. So go check them out, and you might see some of our content over there soon as well. More to come on that in the future. But we'll get right into it. Thursday night, Joe. That can only mean one thing, right? Big TV night. Got the Jersey Shore, Big Brother, The Challenge USA, all on the Paramount networks. The Paramount's crushing Thursday nights. And we'll start with Big Brother. So, Riley, a bit of a showmance, kind of cost her. Maybe in the future she's going to have a Joe-mance when she joins us on You Know I'm Right. That just didn't work out for her, and I thought they were going to flip the house last night, and she was going to be safe because Heisem, I never seen such an aggressive, kind of power veto speech. It almost blew up in his face, but he's in trouble now, I think, moving forward. But why do you think ultimately the votes?
That actually did blow up in his face. Who was it? I think it was Felicia in her diary room session was explaining that. So a lot of what you're seeing here early on in the season is a lot of people who are playing too hard too soon, winning HOH competitions, winning veto competitions, making strong moves, but being aggressive. Trying to think of a better word. But yeah, the whole veto speech, I think, kind of rubbed the house the wrong way. And I'm not a fan of the Thursday night episode now because I think moving forward, what we're going to do is we're going to see production kind of recap the house going into it, and then we're going to get the eviction, and then we're going to get the eviction interview, and then we're not going to find out who the HOH is until Sunday's episode, as opposed to having the HOH competition on Thursday nights. I think that will likely be different in the event of a double or a triple eviction.
There's too many people in the house. I want triple eviction like right now. Like, let's get it down. There's too many people here that we know like they're not going to win. Like Felicia, she's not going to win.
No.
Do you think she's related to Denzel Washington?
No.
Cameron thinks they're brother and sister. I don't think so.
No, there's only one relationship in the house. And for the past 2 weeks between Kirsten and what's her name, Riley, Julie was asking the question in the exit interviews. Nobody knew. So right now, it seems like the mom-son relationship is doing well for Jared, and it was kind of in danger, I think, the first week or so, and now everything is kind of settled in, and I think him and his mom are situated really well, where Jared is a little closer to people on one side of the house, and his mom is situated better on the other side of the house. So it's like you can kind of play both sides low key. So I think strategically, after the first couple of days and kind of being on the block immediately, he had to sweat it out a little bit, but I think he's doing pretty well. So
I think right now, I mean, I don't know how it's going to work out for him because I think he's going to be really bad in competitions. We saw it on the first night, but Corey's playing a good game. He's flying under the radar. He's working with both sides, really. He's just like a nice, happy-go-lucky college kid. He's, to me, somebody who's standing out politically, playing a good game right now.
He's playing a very low-key, intelligent game. He's kind of being observant. He's got good strategic reads on the house based on what we see in the diary sessions. Now, you know me, in the past, I used to be the freak super fan who used to watch the live feeds. I don't watch the live feeds anymore, and believe it or not, I haven't really spoiled much for myself. The only things that have been spoiled for me were Heisem's veto win, which I kind of saw scrolling through Twitter. Outside of that, I've been trying to avoid any of that. So let's go to the great barometer when it comes to evaluating Big Brother house guests. Let's go to Joker's updates because I always like to go to Joker's to kind of see what the pulse is among internet Big Brother fans. So let's say coming off of last night, so heading into last night before the eviction, if I gave you a pick of what 4 house guests were 1, 2, 3, 4 in the Joker's rankings, who would you rank?
Well, I think they're probably going to put Suri and Jordan 1, 2.
No,
No, thank
No.
goodness.
absolutely not.
Jag,
No, he's up there though. He's a little higher than I thought he would be.
Isom.
No,
Corey's
Isom's
got to
near
be
the
number
bottom. Corey's number 4.
one. Okay, Corey.
Think
Matt,
for a second.
They shouldn't
Matt's,
put Matt.
Matt's number 1.
Matt's not playing a good game.
He's
Am I-
not. He hasn't really gotten it going yet. But I
He's
think
not- he's distraught. He's like,
got to get over his girl Riley getting evicted.
how about Cameron? See on there?
Cameron was towards the bottom of the rankings.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, my rankings are going to be different. I hope Mikol's
Nope.
not on there.
No. I'm shocked you haven't said who I thought you were going to say at the
America.
beginning. America's number 2.
America's number 1, I think.
America's always number 1.
You got Matt number 1, America 2, Corey 4.
And number 3 was Riley.
Riley's out, so give me your rankings right now. Who
America's number 1.
Yeah, America's doing great. I think
America.
The people I think can win right now. I think is America. I think is Corey, and I think is Jag and Heisem. I think those are the ones I could see winning. Now,
I think Heisem is playing his way out. Whether it's this week, but it's going to be somewhere soon.
Suri and her son, I don't think they're very good as far as competitions, but they have, they're working both sides out, so they might go far. But ultimately, Big Brother Joe always comes down to can you win comps?
Right.
And there's very limited amount of people in the house I think can win competitions from the cast. Izzy's never going to win a competition. She's talking Big's game about I'm getting high semantics. You're not winning.
Indeed. Yeah, so I think among our favorites, again, we like Corey, we like America, I like Matt, right? So
I like Matt. I just don't think he's playing a good game.
I think he's playing a good
really
game
bad in that power veto competition. And
surprisingly, he hasn't showed in competitions as much as I thought he would so far. So if he can figure out a way to win a competition here and there in the middle part of the game and kind of stay a little more low-key and safe, he'll have a chance going forward. But I think right now you're looking at Jared and Matt as 2 guys you thought would be not comp beasts, but more involved in winning competitions at the beginning of the game. And that's not necessarily the case. But again, it's like Riley won HOH week 1. She's out week 2. Heisem has won a couple vetoes here and won the HOH. Had that huge speech. And now a lot of people in the house, based on what we've seen from the production edits of the episodes, want or strategizing to backdoor Heisem out of the house.
Look at the Professor's Alliance, okay? If Heisem's not winning, none of them are winning.
None of them are winning, right?
So
it's just old, the oldies knowing that okay, we have no chance. So maybe we can hitch our wagon to somebody who's going to be competitive in competitions to try to carry us to a certain degree. It's not going to work. I agree.
If you look at the end, and shout out to Brittany Hoops, our former guest in your own right, for screenshotting and tweeting last night. Looks like we're going into teams next week because if you looked at the competition setup, there's 4 tables of 3. So that means there's going to be 4 teams of 3, 6, 9, 12. There's more than 12 people left though, so I'm not sure.
That's correct.
So we could be going to the team method there. So we're interested to see how that breaks down. And so I think right now, like we said, America's playing a great game. She's pretty well liked. I think she could win some endurance stuff.
Right.
Corey's playing a good game, but I have my doubts he could win competitions.
Right. And I think this week, I guess Cameron isn't well liked in the house, so it seems like he's going to be low-hanging fruit for somebody. Again, I don't spoil anything, right? So as of this recording, as of this live stream on Friday, coming off the episode from last night, we definitely know that there's an HOH. I have no clue who that HOH is, but it seems like once you're on the block towards the beginning of the game, and if you're not really part of a certain group, you become the person who gets thrown on the block.
Is in the group though with the 8,
right?
Without Riley.
But I mean,
I never remember a season where in the first episode or the first week rather, the house split. Usually you feel it out more.
It's incredibly divisive, a totally even split, but it's very hard to stay loyal to a group of 8. It's a lot, right? Because we've seen the first 2 weeks. I hate this. I hate this when the house goes unanimous in the vote. I absolutely hate it. I remember the old days where your vote was your vote. You respected the vote, right? And it's just because you voted one way, even if you didn't necessarily agree, there was like that game respect, like, okay, right? You respect the vote, even though like, that person, even though they're not necessarily on your side, is not really coming after you. Now everybody just wants to appease the whole house. It's silly. I hate it. There should be punishments. You should be a have-not. if the house voted unanimous, everybody should be a have-not the following week. That's how you fix this.
I hate it. But listen, it's supposed to be unanimous votes, so I don't know if people just don't vote the way they want. And you see it in the other great show on Thursday nights, which we finally got you into, the Challenge USA. It is an anonymous vote, so it is great.
Right.
People going against their own team. So first show, you finally came around. I've been telling you for years. Your initial thoughts on watching the challenge for 2 weeks here for the first time?
Well, I prepped in advance. So I was watching YouTube clips of old challenge seasons from the MTV show. We're not really huge Survivor fans here. We didn't really get into it at the beginning, so we haven't really.
First season.
It seems like a lot of people who watch CBS kind of watch Big Brother and Survivor. We're kind of different, where we kind of lean way more towards Big Brother than anything. But I've seen people compete on The Amazing Race, right? So all those competition shows. I would say among the cast right now that's competing on the Challenge USA, I would probably know at least half of them, up to like 2/3 of the whole cast, just from my familiarity with watching old clips and being a Big Brother, right? Because I would say a third of the show almost are people from Big Brother, and a couple of them were previously on our podcast. Big shout out to Alyssa Lopez, who's
Alyssa Lopez is running the game right now.
He is running the game right now.
So you didn't see the first season of USA last year, but Alyssa got screwed the week before the finals. She got taken out in kind of like backdoorish way, elimination. She got because she would have won the finals. She had the endurance. She was rocking the whole season. So now she's like, I'm running this thing here. And I think she's getting respected from the vets. They're respecting her game because she's running the show for as far as the younger generation. She orchestrated everything there.
Yep.
And listen, I mean, what can I say? You come on your norm right, and good things happen for you in the future.
Absolutely. But yeah, it seems like what we've seen so far is that there's this collective effort. So with the competitions, you want to stay loyal to your team first, but it seems like collectively there's this effort where they're targeting those 3 or 4 big time vets, including Johnny Bananas, and they want all the vets out, right? So we've seen them take shots right now. We don't know how necessarily it's going to play out moving forward. But last night's episode was great because, number one, like you said, it showed the fact that Alyssa has been manipulating and strategically not dominating, but like controlling the flow of the game so far. It was a great edit for her. And I thought last night the end competition, the heads up between Johnny Bananas and Paulie, Cal Fury was awesome. Great duel. Paulie just couldn't outlast Bananas on that.
His ice was burning. He missed that last throw. That was crucial.
He missed that last throw, and he knew it. As soon as he missed that throw, he was like, he really, really had to dig deep. And he was on the ice for almost, 40 minutes?
I'm surprised they didn't put Cody Cal Fury on the season.
I mean, well,
he's the other one that's got nothing to prove now. He won.
Correct. We had this conversation last night. So we believe that Joseph Abdin would be great to have on the show. Taylor.
I heard he was an alternate for this, where they sent him home in the last second. Remember, he was an alternate for Big Brother last year, too. But
Oh, he was a bridesmaid before the bride. But yeah, so it's like I said, like we had the conversation with Taylor. Taylor and Cody are in the same boat. They've won Big Brother. They got their moment. Cody's been on the show twice. It's very hard to sell him on continuously going on these competition shows when, number one, he's already done it, and number two, he's won the show and made money. So
and it kind of blew up last season. They had Xavier on, who of course won the season before Big Brother, and it kind of blew up on him because he didn't make it to the finals. And you'll love this, Alyssa Lopez and Derek X, they thought that they're aligned together with Big Brother. They took him out. They got payback from Big Brother, and he was not happy, so he didn't come back. But listen, there's a lot going on. Johnny, he's gonna defect now, I think, on Sunday when they show the episode. I think he might maybe swap places with Corey. I think he's gonna go to the blue team.
Yeah,
I would love to see him go to the green team. What do you think is gonna happen?
I don't know if that's gonna. I mean, for his game, going to the blue team is the move.
Yeah,
but what we've seen from the red team is that between Josh and Paulie and Johnny Bananas, three huge egos were able to kind of keep their egos checked at the door for the first part of the game to kind of work together. And a lot of people on that team were looking to Bananas
Josh
sort of
stinks.
like as a
You
team
don't have a better
leader.
team with Josh. Foley's gone. Like you're gonna go back to Josh.
No,
I mean, to
I
me,
agree.
I think the way that these vets can ultimately win the game is if they keep defecting and they form their own team.
Right.
They say like, all right, we're the green team now. Like we just got to win every competition. To
And
me,
Wes knows people are coming after him too, so I think it probably benefits them more. So
right. So like if he's smart, he should say, I'm gonna join the green team. Let's get rid of like the survivor guy or the amazing race guy, or whatever, So how about Dusty? He's like, oh, I gotta keep Bananas here. He's my hero. Are you kidding me? Like you gotta get him out of there. And Sebastian, he's thinking like you, Joe.
with the wrong head. One last thing I wanted to mention. During the vote last night, our guy Monty getting 5 votes. What the hell was that? I'm watching the show and I see Monty's name go up. I'm like, oh no. And then you see boop, 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 boop. I was like,
and how did Amanda skate free there? Like I would if I'm Bananas, I'm saying let's vote for the girl. So I don't have to go in. But
right.
I don't know, wasn't there, but eventually, these numbers are going to dwindle. People are going to go. You saw Fessel; he's been on the challenge for many years, but I'm going with Big Brother here. He's like, I'm voting against you, Corey. I understand that you're on the bottom of the totem pole and the vets, but if you're going to align with the rookies, you're on the bottom of the totem pole for the rookies. You're in a kind of a lose-lose spot.
Right.
So he made that big move, but listen, if you're in the game, you should want to get Johnny out. He's won 7 times. If he gets to the finals, he's got a great chance to win.
Absolutely.
Great show, but I love that it's 2 times a week now. This writer strike is awesome. We're getting some really good.
Yeah, right. Like a lot of stuff that we don't want is not on anymore, and that gives us more time to watch what we do want to watch.
All right, so you're sucked in. Give me your power rankings for the challenge right now.
In terms of competitors right now, or who I'm rooting for.
And who do you think has the best shot to win this season?
It's a good question. I gotta think about
this. Give me this way. You give me one vet you think has the chance to go to the end.
Wes.
All right, Wes is I'm going to say Wes, and then for me, I'm going to say for the girls, I think Alyssa and Desi.
I would say Alyssa and Desi too.
All right, so we're on the same page. And
I'm also rooting for. I'm rooting for Tyler.
Tyler, I think could make some moves if he could win elimination.
I think the problem with Tyler is that he's so like he's a certain type of personality, right? Yeah. So he's kind of like the happy-go-lucky guy who can kind of mix in, but in terms of, I think, blending in and working specifically with people on this show to kind of get further into the game, I don't know if his personality kind of meshes in. He's a comp beast, and to be honest, his season of Big Brother, where he made the final 2, is the biggest travesty in the history of the show because he should have won the game. But yeah, I kind of have a soft spot for Tyler. Yeah. I'm rooting him for him to go far. Angela would be crazy, but
she was so good the first season.
Tyler and Angela together, though, I don't know if I think that would have thrown Tyler off a little bit.
I want Monty to go far. He kind of got screwed in Big Brother last year,
right?
So he played your game. He's a big guy. We'll see how he does. Comes down to the eliminations. That's what it is. And if you want to be eliminated, you got to win. And the Yankees here, they're going to be eliminated from the postseason soon because they can't win. They're in last place. I mean, who saw this coming before the season, Joe? I hope for this, but I did not think that the Yankees were going to be this bad.
Yeah, think about things that I don't want to watch right now. So the Yankees, as of this series against the Braves, it's always the Braves, right? The Braves bury the Mets. The Braves buried the Yankees this year. The friggin' Braves. Oh. I was looking at that team, quick note, and just looking at the MLB Network graphic about when all the player contracts on that team end. There's a chance here through 26, 27, so long as these guys stay healthy, that they're going to win 1 or 2 more times. I think of all the teams in baseball, they're the most well-built. But back to the Yankees, we saw this coming a couple of weeks ago. Right now, they are just an incredibly poorly built team. And it's like I mentioned, once the trade deadline came and the trade deadline went, you could say that the Yankees aren't going to compete, and you could say that the Yankees should have sold off at the trade deadline. The biggest problem was at the time, who were they going to sell off, right? You're going to sell off Clay Holmes, Gleyber Torres, and then outside of that, maybe Wandy Peralta. There's really not much else there to sell. So in terms of pitching, the one thing that I will say is, despite Carlos Rodon not being great, missing all that time and then coming back,
Jordan the next Carl Pavano.
it seems like it. I mean, I wouldn't have given him that contract. And then when I found out, when we all found out about the back issue, the chronic back issue, and all that, like, you can kind of see where this is going. Luis Severino is not going to be a Yankee next year. It just totally imploded. And again, he hasn't been the same pitcher since the injury either. So, but outside of that kind of like little problem in the rotation, Garrett Cole's still been excellent, right? Cy Young front runner. Clark Schmidt has been very, very, very good this season, very under the radar. The bullpen has had its issues here and there, and they've imploded here and there and lost some games. But overall, the bullpen hasn't really been the issue for the Yankees over the course of the season. So pitching-wise, they were okay, but the offense is just terrible. It's anemic. The DJ LeMahieu contract is terrible. The Giancarlo Stanton money is terrible. The
Josh
Donaldson,
Donaldson.
they're all boat anchors. At least with Rizzo, before he got the concussion, you could point to the first almost 2 months of the season, and you could say, had he not gotten hurt, even if he would have leveled off a little bit, he was playing at the a level where he could have been an all-star. But again, that only gives you 3 good hitters. It only gives you Judge, Gleyber, who Gleyber hasn't even been great, not all-star caliber, worthy of being in the lineup. But again, that's the current state of the Yankees right now. Right now, their number one goal is they're going to have to figure out how to get all this money away. It's really hamstringing them in what they could do, and you got to get younger.
How are they going to Ohtani? They have no money.
But even if you put Ohtani on this team, how much better are you going to be than Ohtani's currently situation with the Angels? Ohtani is a great player. Having him and Judge
left fielder, I need to get a center fielder who can stay healthy.
What is this, basketball, where you're going to put 3 men on the same team and hopefully it works out? This is baseball. This is different.
Look at the Angels.
Philosophically, things have to change.
Yeah, and philosophically, is Brian Cashman back and is Aaron Boone back?
If it was up to me, no.
Okay. But and you're gonna have Derek Jeter be the GM. People are saying, why would you want him?
I don't think Jeter wants to be the GM. I think Jeter likes being the GM in the broadcast booth, where he can kind of make comments and remarks about the state of the Yankees, what's happening right now, where he wants them to go, where they should go. But I don't think he wants to do anything regarding the day-to-day. I think what he did with the Marlins, that was kind of like, it was awful. It was like a test run for him, and I don't think his heart was really in it. So I think somebody like A-Rod would want it more, but the Yankees would never do that. So
you think I think Cashman's back, and I think this is it for Boone. We're finally going to move off from Boone. Who do they hire? Joe Girardi? I don't know who's going to replace Aaron Boone.
Changing the managers isn't going to do anything about it. It's not going to change the structure of the team. Aaron Boone took this particular built roster as far as it was going to go in 2019, and this team has not been the same since. And that 2019 team, ever since that Altuve home run, has not been the same. They got to the 7-game series with the Astros in 17. They went back in 19 with a better team, and they fell short again. And then last year, we all knew that they were totally outclassed. I mean, they no-showed 4 games. They could not get anything going. Last year should tell you, okay, right? Even if you substitute the Rays, I mean, we're waiting and see here with like the Orioles and the Rangers, because they both had really great seasons. But it's like you can substitute any real team in that spot against the Yankees, and
same results.
In all seriousness, you're getting mostly the same results.
So speaking of results, though, what do you think the hitting coach of the Yankees is thinking right now? Sean Casey, is he regretting it? Is he going to be back next year?
That's a good question. I mean, it was probably a test run. As you could see, even hiring him didn't really do anything. But I think, like I said, I think structurally there's just too many other problems at this point.
They got to shake it up. Maybe they got to retool here. Trade Garrett Cole and get a bunch of prospects or something. Yeah,
The problem is the money. Not a lot of teams can take
you
that
got to
money.
eat it. You got to
You
eat
got
it
to
like
eat the
CFO.
money. If you eat most of the money on the contract, you'll get a premium. You'll get 3 premium prospects back to him.
Absolutely. Like you think, like you know, let's just say like a team who has a good farm system or something. Like the Mariners, they want Garrett Cole. They'll give you 3 top guys if you're going to pay.
That means that they're really, really pushing for it. I mean, they would have to win in the next 2 years in order to justify a trade like that.
I'm just saying something like a team like that, a young team, you're trading to the Orioles in division. Get a good prospect, but I don't think they're going to trade.
No, I don't think the Orioles would make a move like that. I think there's a certain way that they know that they have to operate, and that's how they're going to operate. And I think you're more likely to see the Yankees. I mean, Cole's obviously going nowhere, but you're more likely to see him go to a place where they're not eating. Yeah, sure, the Dodgers, but it's like you could trade him to a lesser team and eat some of the money and get a good return back. So long as they don't have to eat most of the money remaining on the deal, because that's just not what how Hal wants to operate.
Right. All right. We'll see what happens there with the Yankees, but they're not making the playoffs. They will finish in last place. And it's on to football season in New York. So the Jets, Joe, Hard Knocks. I mean, Hard Knocks is better with the Jets. That's for sure. Have you been watching? What do you think of this season so far?
I have watched this season, and I think it's been pretty good. And I think that the NFL got lucky here because the Jets fit the parameters. They got Rodgers. They have a lot of fun personalities on the team. There's been a lot of storylines. Now they got signed Dalvin Cook. So it seems like as everything is going on, there's been news surrounding the Jets, like real-time news, stuff that they could use in the program. So the NFL has got really, really lucky here. The first time the Jets did this was with Rex, and it was very entertaining the first time around. So yeah, I think it makes for great TV. I think the Lions Hard Knocks was pretty good. Not the best, but Campbell was great and a lot of great personalities.
Robert is like, I think he's trying too hard for the cameras. Like,
yeah, I think they gave him directive on what to do and how to act and
drop the F-bomb
Yeah, I was gonna say the cursing thing is not him. Not at all. You watched the press conference from his since he's taken the job. He's a straight shooter, but he's so like, I don't want to say like polite, but there's a certain decorum that he uses when he's doing press conferences and interviews and stuff like that. And like when you watch Hard Knocks, you kind of see him a little more like a loose cannon, a little bit, like a little more off the cuff. Not so much like Rex Ryan does. I mean, Rex Ryan is
episode should be really good because we heard that Sal exploded on the special teams coordinator or something.
Right.
They canceled the practice with the Bucks this week because they were just sucking. And Dalvin Cook is signed, and the offensive line is awful. Who's stopping the Jets this year? Their own offensive line. Any team with a pass rush is going to be able to get some pressure on Aaron Rodgers or the running backs. So, I mean, the defense is good. They got some skill position players, great running backs, but
they're built like the Bengals.
If there's no time, I mean, at this stage in their careers, who do you think has a better chance to win this season? Joe Burrow or Aaron Rodgers? I think Joe Burrow.
Sure.
So
he's more likely to stay healthy.
Right. So I don't know. Is Mekhi Becton going to play this year?
He should. Put him on the right side instead of the left side. They may have to go out and trade a draft pick or two to try to get an offensive lineman into the mix here who they feel like could be a starter caliber.
Which one of these receivers is going to get cut? Is it going to be Corey Davis? Why don't you try to trade him then?
You're not going to get much from him. What are you going to get, the 7th round pick? I mean, it's better than cutting him for nothing. Yeah, but
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the Jets. What are you thinking, Joe? Good season here? AFC Championship game?
I think if the offensive line, I think if it kind of shows once the season starts that they're not necessarily as bad as what we've seen. Because again, the show is for storyline, right? So you need one of those like storylines to kind of head into the season with, like, oh, the Jets are ready to go, but is their offensive line really ready for everything, right? So I got to see the first couple of weeks, and I was talking to my uncle about this. Their first part of the schedule is probably the harder part of the schedule, right? So through 6 games, if they're 3-3 or 4-2, I think they're in good shape. Last year they were 7-4, and they kind of just totally imploded down the stretch, and they didn't make the playoffs. So right now, I think if you got to be looking at 3-3, 4-2 after those first 6 games. And after those first 6 games, if you're in that spot and everything kind of rounds into form and you're getting good contributions from everybody, and Gardner's elite at the corner, the pass rush is good. It's got 2 or 3 people who are getting to the quarterback consistently. Rodgers stays healthy, and you see he's got a rapport with his receivers, and the backs stay healthy and are just productive. I think they'll be okay.
All right, so we'll definitely, of course, give our predictions here for the NFL playoffs in a few weeks. We'll give you who we think's going in on both sides. And generally, if you've been following us for years, dating back to our Run football days on Landry Football, we have a pretty high percentage as far as being right. I mean, it's in the show name, that's sure. All right, so that's good to be here for this episode of You Know I'm Right Live. For my coach, Joe Calabrese, I'm Nick Durst, and this has been You Know I'm Right Live.